Hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Show to Be with Mike G, the show of life, the show of San Antonio, representing Mezcal, Juniper Tar, and so much more. With today's guest, the fine proprietor, creative mind, world traveler himself, Mr. Benjamin Krick. We got to sit down during the San Antonio Cocktail Conference. I know this is some months later, but these words have never resonated more true, and Benjamin is off traveling more than he had, as he mentions, wanting to dive into international waters yet again after a teaching stint in Spain and traveling throughout Europe. Benjamin is a man of the world, and I'm glad he's getting to travel around just the way he likes it. A fellow Aquarian and just a wonderful, present, warm guy to sit down and chat with. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this great chat with Benjamin Krick.
We're on the map now.
Yeah.
Big names are coming in. Even Juniper Tar. We're blessed to have just amazing talent behind the bar all week long.
Yeah.
And it's cool, though. A lot of these people reached out to myself and reached out to my friends' bars because they just want to participate during the conference.
It's like, you got a good party going on? Can I come to the party? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how it is. And this place, when I guess it was the Dogma Group, is that what it's called?
Dogma Group did a takeover here Friday night.
It was incredible in here.
It was
the vibe
incredible.
was just really, really cool. You know, some places, because San Antonio, you get all kinds of things. We'll talk about kind of the growth of the cocktail culture and stuff. But this was the vibe is great.
Man, there's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
San Antonio alone, because we're in the middle of just a booming period. So everything's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
And new, and people are eager and hungry.
Yeah.
So when you have like a conference like this, you can feel it in the air walking around. Just everyone's so ecstatic and happy.
You can. Some electricity in the air. Yeah, I feel that.
And it's one of those conferences where, like I said, it doesn't break the bank. Like, you can actually go to the classes with the main speakers and not be afraid of it selling out just yet.
Yeah.
Imagine next year it won't be that way. But
Kind of feel like this is the last year that it got, before they got big. You know,
Yeah,
we saw them before.
And like $45 a class, that's not bad. I mean, you see like some of the other ones, and not everyone can afford that.
Mm-hmm.
So to have, these prices during a week like this is amazing.
It's pretty incredible. Well, it's good. I mean, I imagine, and we'll talk about how kind of Juniper Tar came to be, but this is a lovely spot, so I really commend you on that, and it feels good in here. And,
Man, the best compliment that we can acquire here is that it feels like home.
Yeah, it does.
When people are away from their home.
I'm about to take my pants off. Just to relax a little bit.
Off.
So if I understand, so here's the cool thing. So it's nice because we'll talk about life, we'll talk about booze and things, but we're both Aquariuses, or Aquarii. Aquarii. Some bullshit word, right, for the pearl. I think, and this is the thing, and actually, do you know who Daniel Warlow is? Another dude, right? But it turns out we had the same birthday. And so
Nice.
the question I asked him, because I'm like, all right, we're all part of the same tribe here, right? You seem like a really calm, very collected, peaceful guy. Is that an accurate?
It is.
Yeah.
I literally just go with the flow, very laid back.
Yeah.
This week, I think with everything that we did here, to still be standing is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, overall, yeah, I don't really let anything get to me, ever.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
It's a
brilliant.
good way to just approach every day.
Yeah. Kind of zen-like, and just don't let it rough you up too
Yeah,
much.
I mean, we create our own stress.
Yeah.
So it's like what we want out of each day.
Yeah, that's
So.
a great point. Absolutely. Well, so going back, and you raised in Georgia? Am I reading this correctly? In Atlanta?
Born and raised in Atlanta,
Yeah.
downtown. Did all my schooling there, then moved to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte. Interesting.
And then I was in Well, I moved around quite a bit. Ohio, California. Then I was in Spain for 2.5 years.
Yeah, doing the English thing. I
Yeah,
think, right?
teaching English.
Yeah. Well, so going back to Atlanta, the kind of guy you are, were you a science guy? Were you into athletics? Were you into food? What kinds of things were you doing?
Man, you know what? I was into everything. I
Yeah.
really just, and that's why I couldn't stay in the city. I was so eager to see the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to see. So yes, all of the above. I was interested in everything.
Were you so like? Does that come from home? So, for example, like if your mom has
Yeah.
moved around or your dad or whatnot.
Yeah. I think so. My mom was a flight attendant for Eastern Airlines.
So literally
Travel the
traveling
world.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but honestly, once I understood that there were other things outside of like, our little bubble we grow up in,
Yeah.
I was addicted. I had the fever. I had to travel. I had to see all the other walks of life.
Yeah.
Put myself in their shoes. I wanted it.
That's incredible. Just absorb it all, take it all in.
That's something that I do. Even relates to what we do here, or what I do with the beverage program. Is I'm still constantly seeking new perspectives
Yeah.
on what we do in the cocktail world. So with all these travels throughout, it just helps inspire and encourage.
Yeah. Were you ever at that point, kind of before you expanded or set on your journey around the world? Were you a creative guy? Did you draw things? Did you write things? Because it feels like that's in you. That you
was
have this
it. Always, all the time. Doodling, just, actually. Trying to think. I took as many different classes. But with my family, they signed me up for everything, which is great.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if it was art class or gymnastics or baseball.
See what would stick, right?
Yeah. But no, there's definitely, even to this day, my brain just never stops. There's that creative flow,
Yeah.
which is cool.
That
I
is
mean,
cool.
it's not a bad thing.
No. I mean, do you find like you achieve something? So Juniper Tar, for example. So you get it done. It's here. People are appreciating it.
Absolutely.
And then you think, okay, what can I do next? Is that how your mind works?
Well, man, it's like, so in the movement and where I think our scene is heading, I think here at Juniper, what we're doing is the future of that movement, which is you can have a beautiful back bar and a well-done menu, but without any pretentiousness or arrogance. So
Absolutely.
Everyone just has a good time. And how we priced everything here, even though we're using top-notch fine ingredients from all over the world, it's all priced appropriately to where everyone can come in and share the same experience and have the same intimate hospitality that we offer.
Yeah. No judgment.
No judgment. There's no wrong orders. If
Exactly.
people found the bar and they made it here, the last thing I want to do is be eager to tell them no.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell the staff that all the time. That's why we're different. Regardless of a 650 bottle back bar,
Right.
none of that matters if you're not having a good experience.
Exactly.
And today's world is full of options. You can get a drink anywhere.
Sure.
And for probably a lesser price.
Yeah.
But for us to have repeat guests and just be packed every night and people not really caring about the money they're spending because they're having such a wonderful experience and
Absolutely.
they're learning about new things that typically they'd be too afraid to try. One, because they don't know anything about it, and maybe the bartender's not educated enough to explain it to them, and so they don't want to commit to maybe a $15 cocktail.
Right.
Because that's a gamble.
It is a gamble. It's an interesting thing. So I kind of wonder, this creative spirit of yours, when you moved to North Carolina. Well, one, I gotta ask, why Charlotte? Right now they had a cool music scene and stuff, but that's more like Chapel Hill. But so, what brought you to Charlotte?
Man, Charlotte. So into the service industry world, I kicked off at my first restaurant job in Charlotte. Basically, the beginning of my hospitality career. That was just a move up. I had family up there, and I wanted to see a new city. And that's only 3 hours away from Atlanta, believe it or not.
Oh, that's not bad then.
Yeah.
So you could always come back and visit, right?
All the time. But the scene when I was in Charlotte, that time, it was more about wine. And I really got into wine really deeply. And that was a big passion, and ended up managing a wine bar in downtown Charlotte called the Wooden Vine.
No kidding.
And it was great.
Did you was it all really buttoned up and tight and kind of fancy?
It was a little bit.
Were you wearing a tie all the time?
All the time. Yeah. But like I said, it was just a wine bar, but the location was amazing, and what we offered was really cool too.
Yeah. Did you like the people aspect of it? You know, because it's this balance between wine specifically, the so much variety, so much versatility, but it comes from all over the world. But then you got to balance that knowledge with wanting to hang out with people and being nice to people.
That's it. I think once you can get that, if you can educate yourself and still be a fan of the people or be for the people, and actually genuinely care about their interests. Like their interest is what you're focused on. So it doesn't matter if it's wine or craft beer or cocktails or anything. Just knowing what you're selling is a huge part. Building that rapport and that trust with the guests immediately as soon as they walk in, letting them feel as comfortable as they want to feel without being afraid or being judged.
I think that's what everybody wants, right?
Right,
That's maybe one of the great things about why cocktails are really accessible now, is that it's popularized. I saw it on ABC now, Modern Family or whatever, and so now I can order a Manhattan and not feel bad about it. You know?
Old fashions are like everywhere now.
Everywhere. You go to Applebee's and they'll put over rocks and shit, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
So balancing that, I think probably deep interest in the wine aspect of it from an academic level. What kinds of things were you doing socially? Was it party time, or was it sit down and learn and read?
What, outside of
outside of the wine game?
Oh man, always reading and pushing the palate, tasting everything that I still do this, and I possibly can, and I tell everyone that, like, you'll never know it all, but you can get rusty. Just understanding what each category and region and style within are supposed to be like, and having a reference in your brain for that helps, especially with building a cocktail menu.
Oh, sure. What kinds of things did you kind of flock towards flavor-wise at that point? I know it's changed because Mezcal finds us when we're older, right? But early on, wine is definitely influential.
Well, I definitely liked dry, earthy, more of that like funkiness.
Yeah.
When I was into wine, or those just bold in your face too.
Yeah.
But just like anything else, I guess it depends on the day, the mood.
Yeah.
Because there's an ever-ending list of wines.
It's kind of nice. If you like to learn, it's the best thing, right?
Yeah.
You just keep feeding in, new vineyards coming in, new varietals.
It's a blessed industry to be in.
Yeah.
Because I get to basically get paid to drink.
Yeah.
But,
it could be worse.
Right.
It'd be like going to a pizzeria, getting eat. That's the only other one that might be just as good.
I agree.
It could be.
But no, so even at the wine bar or now, and I preach to the staff that if someone orders something that we don't offer, with all the education that I've invested in you, or you invested in yourself, then you don't say no to the guest.
Right.
You realize what you have on the back bar. You understand the flavors they're asking for. So to me, you've been challenged to replicate those flavors right there and on the moment.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. It's always like a relation. It's like forging a relationship every drink. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
Like, what kind of mood is this person in?
Absolutely.
Do they seem like they're sad? Because obviously there's plenty of things back there that don't really aid that.
Well, you probably know this as well. I mean, we are actors.
Yeah.
When you can like see the scene, and you have a full bar, and everyone is in there from a different walk of life, different tax bracket or whatnot. But being able to kind of chameleonize yourself to each individual guest as you're going down the bar, like reading them and assessing them and dropping your tone and mirroring them and really genuinely caring about what they want is something that you just can't find in many places.
Does that ever kind of pose a conflict? Because I think you're absolutely right. And I try to file it under empathy because then I feel okay about it. Like, there's so many different kinds of people. I'm kind of changing the way I communicate. But the actor element of it, does it ever feel disingenuous to you?
No. Well, at this point, I don't even know if it is an acting element. I think it's more of a sixth sense.
Yeah.
My assessment of the guest starts as soon as they walk in. What they're wearing, their mannerisms, their tone, the words they choose, and so by the time they get all the way to like about to order, I'm pretty sure I know the direction they're gonna go in, like almost to a T every time. But that you can't really teach It just comes with experience.
Do you thinking about it, so that's observing. It's putting the pieces together, kind of building a character, right? Like without even a single word yet.
Don't need it.
So when you go into, and I was just talking to Lydia about this the other day, if you go into a new place, you've never been there, maybe it's a restaurant, maybe it's a bar, do you scope it out first and kind of piece it together before you have what your kind of like objectives, I guess you could say?
I do now.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, how I view at a bunch of things within the hospitality industry is completely different.
Yeah.
Almost jaded.
Yeah, it can be for sure.
So the experience for myself when I go out isn't the same as what it once was.
Yeah.
Because I've been pretty spoiled.
That's the worst. It's the worst and the best. Knowing what you want. I mean, because then you, to me, have never seemed pretentious. Like, you're very, very even-keeled, very, very down-to-earth guy. But I get that, like, I'm pretentious about stuff. And it's only because I've had the luxury of trying really good things.
Man, and that's the cool thing. And all my friends are not within the industry that I'm in, are uber jealous of the fact that they see me drinking the finer things in life, eating the finer things, traveling, and they just don't understand.
You're like Bourdain with a beard, right? A bearded Bourdain. Just traveling around and having a good time. But that's
that's an awesome compliment. I'll take that.
We'll sip to that.
Salud.
Salud. Well, so then did you, at this move to Spain to teach English, if I'm understanding correctly, was that a product of maybe falling out of love with hospitality or ready to just put it on the back burner for a little bit and pursue some other stuff?
No, not at all. I was, so this was when I broke away from the wine bar. I knew that I needed to get out of the States. And so that was just an avenue to get out. Not that the States are bad. It's just I wanted to see other cultures and how they were doing things, even in the wine industry. And so with moving to Spain, I was able to go to vineyards all throughout Europe and bar cultures and just, once again, pushing the palate. Yeah, sherry especially. Trying new things, watching, observing. Even with, like I said, the menu I have here today, a lot of the influence is still a culmination of my experiences from that time in Europe and Northern Africa. Like,
North Africa
leads
as well.
through the menu. Well, that's just part of the travels. Because once you're like in Europe, it's so cheap and to get around and inexpensive. The low-cost airlines.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Bus,
Why not
trains.
just head out? I mean, we can go to Dallas.
I mean,
it's not the same thing, you know.
If you think about that, like driving from here to Dallas would be almost like Spain to Germany.
Yeah, exactly. Like true, like legendary ancient cultures.
Right. A
little bit better, you know. I like to say, but
Crazy.
Texas is insanely vast anyway. But in your travels, can you tell? I'm trying to think because I just want to get travel tips, Mr. Bearded Bourdain. So, what was there a surprising city for you? Something that perhaps you didn't expect would be
100% Budapest.
No kidding.
It blew me away.
What was it about it that was so different for
Dude,
you?
it's just so uniquely different, almost untouched.
Really?
A lot of the city is still, unfortunately, destroyed since the war, and they have not been able to rebuild.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the allure that brought me in.
Yeah.
I was going to these gigantic bars that had holes in the ceiling and walls from bombs, and they didn't care. They just put a piece of artwork over it and just keep doing their thing. Like, don't mind that giant hole in the wall.
It's a little drafty over here, guys. What do you? Well.
But just a really unique culture. The coolest part about it is you never knew what was going to be behind each door.
Yeah.
There were no signs, so each door is just another avenue to a whole other room full of people. The ruins. It's called the Ruin Pubs.
Interesting.
In Budapest, and it's if anyone is going to Europe or Eastern Europe anytime soon, I highly recommend checking it out.
How is the food there?
Oh man, goulash for days.
Goulash, oh man, that is great stuff. Did you notice in your travels? Did you notice this common thread that despite what may be different about the people and yourself, you still hospitality was always in common with everybody?
Well, I guess hospitality is also. I mean, that is a universal quality, but it is delivered in different ways, and not just as upbringings or product or environment. So yeah, seeing hospitality delivered in other ways was pretty cool too.
Yeah, because it is it's just a different flavor. You know, like
Absolutely.
all to the same ends, right? Like we want each other to be taken care of, but I guess the means in which we get there is always different.
I mean, points of service, skilled hospitality. If you have to offer that,
Yeah.
and in this industry, I feel like it's hard to find the right people, even for this bar here. I held out for a very long time. I am a huge believer in that. Just one individual can change the entire dynamic. So I would definitely not hire for many, many months and put myself behind the stick every night until I would find the right person.
Yeah.
And what I'm looking for was someone who was humble,
Yeah.
eager to learn, and kind of willing to put their faith in the vision and what we preach here.
So in a way, it was like kind of mirrors your philosophy of how you learn and how you want to interact with people. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of. I don't want a lot of mini me's like in my business, but like a few are all right. I don't have a problem with it. You know.
That's absolutely finding. And now that this everyone feels entitled, this entitlement that's just disgusting, and this arrogance and the hot shots and the star tenders.
Yeah.
But none of that makes sense because I think a lot of people have forgotten why they are where they're at and how they got there.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen overnight. So, I mean, I'm happy that these people are great at what they do, but it's still, it shouldn't be the meism. It should be for the team you represent.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Even with, and that's part of my interviewing process here is I'm not a fan of, hey, come see me behind the stick tonight. It's, hey, come see us, come see the team. I don't want the soloing out.
Yeah, I think it's not
individuals.
Important over time, right? Like bars can't be sustained. No civilization can be sustained by one man. Now it can be ruined by one man,
right?
As may possibly happen here in the next 4 years. We'll have to see about that.
It's happening right now.
Yeah. Well, so I'm curious. You did this amazing traveling throughout Europe, Northern Africa, this stint in Spain to learn more and more about food, about flavor.
Mm-hmm.
What pulled you back to the States? It seems like, why the hell would you ever come back?
And I almost didn't. I really almost didn't. I was about to take a under the table, just private job and just not come back. Yeah. But I had friends and family here, and it just was. I felt time. I mean, I was there for 2 years, 2 weeks straight without coming back once.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So
I mean, that's a great tour.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was completely immersed in the Spanish culture. The town I was in only had like 150,000 people and no English. So that was truly awesome to just literally just pick up and be dropped into another city, another culture. I did my research and I knew a good bit of Spanish, but nothing else can prepare you for that. So you either just do it and then survive when all the instincts kick in anyways. Yeah. You're going to figure it out.
So don't think about it too much.
Yeah,
just do it.
Don't stress.
Be open to the. Oh man, that's lovely. So family brings you back, love ultimately, that kind of sense, right? Brings you back. So I imagine then, how did you find yourself as having San Antonio as home? Well,
I moved up. So I had a girlfriend at the time in Charlotte. She was from Annapolis, Maryland. Ended up moving after Spain to Annapolis, Maryland to be with her. She got accepted for Teach for America in San Antonio, so we moved out here.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I'd never been to the city, and it was almost like a starting over point for me here because I didn't know anyone to plug me in. So I started 3.5 years ago. Again, I started over just waiting tables and working my way up through the system and shaking hands and meeting people to get to the point where I'm at now. But that was the reason of how I got here. Her and I are no longer together, but I saw so much opportunity in the city of San Antonio and just so much like untapped resources. And I didn't understand that everyone around me was complacent. And I was like, I know if I put my head in the books and just do what I've always wanted to do, I can just surpass everyone and skyrocket. And that's exactly what I've done here.
That's an amazing thing.
Because like literally to show up 3 years ago, not knowing anyone, and to now be part owner of Juniper Tar.
One of the pioneers of the scene now, at the forefront of it, I mean, that's pretty a brilliant thing, especially now when this is happening like this.
Such a boom. It's such a great time to be in.
A renaissance.
It is. Yeah. It is.
And so I was talking to Johnny this week, and
Nice, yeah. Love him.
He mentioned how his fondness for you, and I know he was at Esquire, which again was kind of the incubator for so much of the talent.
100%.
So many people working over there, and you ended up working there a little bit later, though, right? 2011,
True.
It looked like.
I was there for 2 years, so that would be, what year is it now?
17 in quotes,
Okay,
right?
sure.
We kind of started.
So I've been here over a year. So yeah, I was there for a couple of years. That's an amazing program that's been set in place by Houston Eves, and he was my mentor for the years that I was there to help pretty much fine tune who I was.
Yeah.
And he's
but that was a personal goal? Because I imagine Houston. He's so wise, right? He's just
He
this
really
kind of
is.
sage-like guy, and so
Yeah.
just being around him, he imparts this knowledge. But for you,
I noticed it immediately and just followed him and just took notes.
yeah,
Like, obviously, he's a brilliant man, and I wanted to take take advantage of that.
sure,
Capitalize on the fact that I could work under him or next to him, which was really cool.
yeah, that's amazing.
And he's a big fan of pushing your palate too, and understanding that we are fortunate to try the finer things and
Yeah.
paying attention to detail, which is I don't think a day went by that he didn't say that to us.
Oh, I bet.
Like, the
Well, you look
attention to
at
detail.
So how do you feel about the Esquire downstairs?
Oh, beautiful.
Talking
I
about
mean, I already
detail,
knew it would
right?
be, yeah.
And I that's a brainchild of Houston, isn't it? It's got.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Never to disappoint.
No.
Ever. It's funny because I remember that basement. I might have passed out in that basement quite a few times, but now to see it not a basement anymore.
Yeah.
Just
Like, I don't want to. I can't pass out in here. It's way too nice for me to pass out.
Right. And a beautiful, beautiful bar. It's really cool to see how far they've come as well.
It's amazing. Again, and it's so cool to see it as kind of the bullpen for all the key pitchers that kind of went out. into the industry
Everyone
and
can
stuff.
pretty much be traced back to some point in time at the
Right?
Esquire Tavern.
It's Babylon, man.
Almost, I don't think there's anyone in the city who hasn't made a name for themselves that did not at least one point work at Esquire Tavern.
And which as if I was called an archivist, that's the easiest thing. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, let's look at that one place and
That's
see
it.
how it spins out and how everybody gets out.
Somebody should probably do that.
I know. I hear there's
Look at
a.
the city now. Like,
Okay,
everyone.
we'll use what is it, genealogy.com or something. We'll just create like an Esquire name, and then, which will be weird because it'll be like Esquire, and then
Right.
you got to spin it
Yeah.
out.
The third.
Well, so did you know you were ready then, after kind of studying with Mr. Eves, that you were ready to take this into your own
So
hands?
within those 2 years, that's when I really pushed myself harder than I ever had. I bought, it's getting into, and I bartended, at like anything you can imagine, fine dining, hotels,
Yeah.
dive bars, pubs, restaurants, family restaurants. But getting into what I thought was craft, but then really getting into what craft really is, was really cool. And then I wanted it. I was so hungry. So I did like the typical thing any ambitious bartender would do. And I bought every book and I bought every tool.
Yeah.
And I was like, buying a bottle or two a week just to build a bar.
It's
just
research. And
Yeah.
I don't even say that, like, ironically. It really
Yeah.
is.
And then I was just knocking off certifications too. I was like, I want to pass all these tests this year.
Yeah.
And I would just push and push and push. And then one day I got the opportunity to actually do bar 5 day.
Oh, that's right. Because
And
you were
that-
helping Evan this past week to imparting it. You were
I hope
paying
he
it
didn't poop
forward.
his pants this week. I tell you what, bar 5 day is no joke. It's not. It's incredible. It actually changed my life 100%. But my love goes out to anyone who's done it or is going to do it. They will mentally and physically break your mind and your palate.
Yeah.
5 12-hour days, blind taste, 160 spirits. Like,
It's
it's
insane.
no joke.
Yeah. You emerged a stronger
Man.
person after that, I imagine.
100%.
Yeah.
Not just with the wealth of knowledge in the room. Like the pioneers of who run our industry and mold the industry now are all in there as your professors, and then you're sitting next to some of the best in the world, studying with you, and then the networking. In this industry, it's 100% vital to network.
Yeah.
Not just to get like more likes on Facebook or Instagram, but to actually do it like we did here in the bar this week and have collaborations and make things fun and just overall just spreading the good word.
Yeah.
Around.
Well, no, you're right. You never know when sitting next to somebody, almost in passing, but having a brief conversation, when that will come around to expanding more relationships, because it's about people, and the more people you meet, I just feel more enriched by that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that being said, like, the more you put yourself out there, the more you become relatable.
Yeah.
And understanding with all of those around you. And that's kind of a key component to being, in my mind, a wonderful bartender.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the style of bar, but just being able to look at people, relate, understand, and build a rapport.
Absolutely.
It's
yeah, no, I think you understand it. I mean, learning via a book is great, but learning via a person is better.
Right. Well, and also, the books, and everyone should read the books. We all need to walk before we run. We shouldn't skip any steps in this industry. I find there's a lot of weaknesses throughout with those that are just so eager to just run and just start just going and making drinks. But there are templates and formulas that you need to know first and to really understand what cocktail building is.
Absolutely. So which begs the question then now as a business owner, right?
Yes.
Or at least, having partners and things. What made you feel like you were ready to make that step, which is about operational efficiency and operational knowledge?
I'll be completely honest. I was not that was not my area of expertise.
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot about it. I was just this is when the networking helped a lot. I started making phone calls and emailing to those that have already been in my position, and I started asking for advice.
Yeah.
Just, being completely transparent. I don't know this side of the industry. I want to know it, and I will know it.
Yeah.
But I need help now.
Yeah.
So coming in and becoming part owner and setting up the vision and the program was not easy by any means, and it's still not easy.
No, I don't think it ever becomes easy.
No. Anyone in the industry who hires a staff, that is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Hands down, finding good people. It's so hard. It shouldn't be.
I know.
It shouldn't be, but for some reason, that is like the hardest part.
Do you think it's hard just in general to find good people? Not even to hire them, but just to relate to?
Yes and no.
Like
no, I feel like, I'm a huge believer in wanting to trust in another human being and wanting them to be good.
Right. Hobbesian, is that right? Or is that Loxian? I can't remember. It's one of those two.
I was going to say it, and I was like, I can't remember the word, so I'm
one of those
not going to butcher it. But no, I think there's good in everyone. And here, that's our job, is to pull it out and let it shine.
It's an amazing thing. This space does feel like a reflection of you. You know what I mean? Not intentionally and not in an egotistical way. It's like when it's a kid.
It really is. It took me over a year to curate it, and obviously it's a lot.
Yeah.
But just hand selecting every bottle for this last year has been really, really special. As part of the business owner thing, it's not about what deals are to be made or cut, because once it's actually a passion, you don't care about that part. And so all the product I brought in is product that I believed in and wanted in. It wasn't by like any other influence.
You got a connection to every one of those bottles.
I do.
Ultimately,
I find myself gazing at them every day.
Adorningly.
Just
it's like, oh, look at my family, Just an amazing thing.
Turn that off. Sorry.
Oh, technology. It happens to the best of us. But yeah, so just over a year, you have built an amazing reputation built on hard work, from my interpretation. You have great credibility as a man, which is an amazing thing. So I've got just two more questions.
Sure.
This is an amazing first step, which is the culmination of years of hard work, which I get.
Of course.
It cannot end here, because I don't think this will ever be enough.
You know what? I am that person.
Yeah.
I don't have an end goal. All of this, is still a stepping stone in my mind. Because
Exactly.
I know that I'm just going to keep pushing And people are like, what for? And it's like, I don't even really know.
Yeah.
I just want to just go as far as I possibly
Ahoy.
can.
You know, point this.
There's no boundaries. And it's, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, if no one else wants to do it, I will gladly do it.
It's amazing.
I will gladly hit every conference and seminar and tasting and shake hands and hug people and just be like,
Whatever
hey,
it
next
takes.
time you're in San Antonio, come on out.
The next mayor of San Antonio, Mr. Benjamin Krick.
But, I mean, yeah, this is still a stepping stone. And, you know, I'd love to do what I do now and actually get back into international waters again. That would be kind of a huge step for myself down the road.
I think that'd be an incredible thing. And I don't think that's far-fetched. Some people be like, well, you know, good luck with it. But I think that's going to be your stomping ground before too long, you know. So this is the thing that you're a really interesting guy. And I don't know, I know you find the world interesting. This makes a lot of sense. So this is a question I've been asking people lately. And I think I'm going to ask in every interview going forward. But got amazing answers. So you're at any bar in the world, right? You're sipping some mezcal, let's say. You're having a good time. If anybody could sit next to you, living or dead, who would you love to share a drink with and a conversation?
Wow. That is a pretty deep question.
Sometimes, and then everybody thinks about it, though, I think, you know?
Well, I honestly, I want whoever it is with a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
That kind of, it's the same as me with the whole fuck the naysayers. Let's just sit back and have a good time. Man, Bill Murray would be amazing.
I was going to say, it's got to be, that sounds like Bill Murray, right?
He's out in Brooklyn making appearances. So
well, he was in Austin the other day, too.
What's that?
He just hangs out in Austin, too.
God.
Yeah, dude, he's at Geraldine. So Bill Murray makes some sense.
But that guy just knows how to, he's the life of the party in any room he's ever in.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care what people think.
Doesn't give a shit.
And he has a refined palate. He's
and
a
no
well-traveled,
cell phone.
educated man, and he's hilarious.
It's a brilliant answer. It makes me, I think when we get back, I'm going to watch Caddyshack again. There's not enough Bill Murray time in it, but it's still quite good. Classic stuff.
But what he does do in it is on point.
Completely on point. Dude. Benjamin, dude, thank you so much for letting me into Juniper Tar when you're closed.
It's an honor,
Get to be around with these amazing chandeliers, this massive family of bottles, 70 plus of which are Mezcal. Sipping this Mezcal with me and making the time. I'm really excited to see what you do next, man. It's been a pleasure.
Man, that means a lot. Like I said, it's a true honor for you reaching out and having me here today.
It's a total pleasure, dude. Thank you. Godspeed.
Yeah, cheers.
Well, there we have it. The amazing proprietor of Juniper Tar in San Antonio, Texas, Mr. Benjamin Krick. You always have a friend in Benjamin. And the Juniper Tar ambiance, atmosphere, the back bar, the place is just incredible. And it feels like a direct conduit into the nice, hospitable, warm, and present man himself, Mr. Benjamin Krick. And it was great sitting down to chat with him. He's a special guy. He feels spiritual. He feels worldly. He feels imbibed and just so amazingly positive. Benjamin, it was just brilliant sitting down and chatting with you. And I know you're going to be up to bigger and better things, and I cannot wait to see what those are. So thank you for listening to Show to V with Mike G. No matter if you said, I'm finally going to sit down and binge watch Cheers on Netflix since all of the seasons are there, or if you're thinking, I want to make sure everybody I know goes and sees Baby Driver because it's such an incredible movie, please keep dancing.